So it's about 3 something in the morning, and my sleep schedule is completely screwed up. And I thought today we'd do something a little different. I mean, you're wondering why it's all red, because the lighting I use in my videos is the sun. And the sun hasn't turned itself on yet. So we're gonna do this red light district thing, and I hope you guys don't mind, but this is probably for the best to not be able to see anything. And as much as I'd love to dive into any number of these bags of AI poop tabs that I have open on my browser at any given time, oh, there's so many delicious bags of shit to choose from. Like, honestly, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. What about this one? This one's fun. No, 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 no. We're going to talk about this one really quick, and then we're going to draw something, because the reason I started this YouTube channel originally, and wasn't even that long ago, is that I did want to make art tutorials and just give myself an extra motivation to make stuff. And didn't take long for this AI thing to come out, and the focus very quickly changed. So I would like to get back to that a little bit, and we will talk about AI art and stuff, but I do want to briefly touch on one of the many, many bags of AI shit controversies that I'm met with every morning when I wake up. I have trained my media feed to show me as much AI crap, not AI art, like AI articles and things of that nature as it can. So I spend my morning, I drink my tea, which I'm drinking right now, and I just peruse the bad news for the day, and there's certainly no shortage of those things. But there is an artist named Sam Does Art, and if you type in Sam Does Art controversy, there's really only one video about it. This girl named Lola Holiday did, and I watched it yesterday as I laid in my bed thinking happy thoughts, and I did like her video. I think she takes a very neutral stance on this. So, in a nutshell, this is just another example of a stable diffusion user who decided to take an artist's work and train it in the model so they can kind of rip off his art, right? We all know how I feel about it. I feel the same way that you guys feel about it. I think it absolutely sucks. But she takes a little more neutral stance on it. And the one thing I do want to talk about is the fact before we make something, because that's really what I want to do. It's way too early to get into the AI art hellscape too deeply, and let you can't forget to just make stuff in all this. I always say it at the end of my videos, like, don't let this shit get you down. You got to keep your creative fires burning, whatever your medium is. It's really important, and it's really good for you. But in her video, she kind of, I don't want to say she calls Sam out a little bit, but she kind of does, in that Sam didn't like what this stable diffusion user did, and nor should he. And he posted it to his social media. He's got like 2 million followers or whatever it is. He's got absolutely massive following, and he didn't blur the dude's name out. Now, I would have done the exact same thing. And that user, that stable diffusion user, apparently Sam fans, went and they harassed the crap out of this guy. And I think they should have. And apparently they shamed this guy so hard, or girl, whoever the hell it was, they actually shut their social media down. And she thought that was bad, Lola Holiday. And I couldn't disagree with that more. I think there should be consequences. Look, social media is like a disgusting thing, right? It has benefits. It's a complex thing, but it does damage. It fucks people up. Let's just call it what it is. And these people who do this reprehensible stuff by training their tech on artist style and then distributing that so anyone can rip it off, I think there should be a consequence for that. And what he did, I think, beautifully he had the platform and had the power, and I think what he did was righteous, and if I was in his position, I would have 100 million% done the same exact thing, and and been totally fine with it. That person absolutely deserved that, and they should have shut their social media account down, because this, Dream Booth, which is Stable Diffusion's kind of, take 5 images, run your GPU for an hour, or rent some time online for like pennies, and lets you do this. It really, in my opinion, I think it appeals to the worst type of people's worst impulses, right? So not everybody is going to see that capability and say, okay, like, I should do this, right? Granted, people, if something is in front of them, they're just going to do it, right? They're thinking, if this is available and I have access to it, then I should absolutely just do this. It's fine. But a lot of humans, people who actually appreciate art and understand the skill and the time and the effort, will know that, like, yeah, even if I do this, I'm not going to put it on social media. I'm not going to share it. And I can't say what percentage that is, but there are human beings out there. I don't want to cast a wide net and say that all Stable Diffusion Dream Booth users are these like sociopaths. Just the most egregious users I'm very happy to call out. But who, in the case of Holly Mengert, I don't know if you're familiar with that one. She's another artist. She does these beautiful, charming kind of Disney princess types of art. And another guy, this dude in Canada who's like from some, wherever he's from. His name was like Umbogu or something like that. Not Grogu, Umbogu. And he did it with her art and was pretty unrepentant about it. He basically said, somebody interviewed him. Who's the name of this? Simon Bao, I think. He's a wonderful journalist who's been covering a lot of these AI stuff, and he does a really good job. He's a journalist, though. His job is to be neutral, right? If I'm Lola Holiday, I call this out for she's an artist. I'm me. I'm a bitter, hateful monologuist, apparently, so I definitely call this shit out. But did the same thing with Holly Mengert, and when Simon Bao, bless you, buddy, called her out, spoke to Imbogu, or whatever his name is, and said, hey, like, do you think maybe that if you had, you probably could have reached out to her, because I talked to her and she said she was pretty unhappy, and if you had asked her, he would said no. And he paused for a second. He said, well, maybe that makes it different. But then, like, 5 days later, he did the same exact thing with another comic book illustrator. So some people, they bad people. Some bad people. So what I'm saying is that this capability really makes it easy for some kind of people with questionable moral standards to act on some pretty bad impulses. And as far as Sam does arts go, great job, dude. I mean, in addition to just doing a great job with your artwork and building a community, something to aspire to for creators out there as well. I mean, I think he absolutely should have did what he did, and I think the outcome was justified, and I think I would like to see that type of outcome going forward. High five, Sam. Ba-boo. Okay, so enough of this crap. You guys want to make something? Remember making art before all this AI shit came along, and we used to wake up in the morning and think, what should I make today? I have some time before work. Maybe I'll make something. I'm inspired. I love life. I love to create. So I want to try to get back to that just a scoochy boochy. So we're going to do something really quick here. So what I have here is, this is like a little palette of kind of sci-fi buildings that I made. And these are really fun to use. You can see over here I have another set that I made that I have vectorized. And I'm going to do that with these. This is a PSD right now. I'm going to take these all into Illustrator, create vectors, and build a vector palette for Photoshop. And the reason you would even want these to be vector is simply because then you can stretch it and pull it or whatever, and it doesn't get all pixely and poopy doopy, right? So that's what makes it fun. But these are all pretty high res too, and I kind of like these, and I don't want to get too time consuming. I want to try to do this quick because I've seen my viewer retention data. I think I have like, according to that, I've already lost you all. And I get it. Like, I have zero attention span. I literally watch a video for like 5 seconds, unless it's like a StarCraft 2 video, and then for some reason I just find that so soothing. Or if it's like a Warhammer 40k lore video by Luton, who's listening to his sophisticated, beautiful English accent tell me in beautiful, vivid detail about the absolute horror and and savagery of the 40k universe, I'll watch an entire thing because it's just chicken soup for the soul. But today we're going to make something, and if you see these two here, these are two kind of quickies that I did this week, and I was trying to make something every morning. And since I did wake up at like 2 in the morning or something ridiculous and just said, screw it, we're up, let's just get on the computer and have some tea. Let's make something. So these are two things I made this week, and these are pretty fast. And I just do like really basic landscape techniques. And I put this big moon in here because it's it's almost like a graphic cheat. It creates like a very easy type of hierarchy from light to dark, and it creates some space. And it's a little bit of a nice, I don't want to say it's a cheat, but it's a little bit of a visual cheat there. So these were pretty quick, and I used this palette right here. I kind of have a very vague idea of what I'm going to make, and I'll drag one of these things in there in the beginning, and I just kind of flesh it out a little bit. And truth told, I have absolutely no idea what I want to try to make, so there's a good chance that I might not release this video if I wind up spinning around. You know what I mean? When you don't necessarily have a plan and you wind up moving things around back and forth, and you're just not sure about the composition, but sometimes you just put it all together and right away you go, that feels right? And you don't want to get out your magic spiral or start doing rules of thirds and start thinking about it mathematically. You want to go on a feeling. So we're going to do, these are both the same size. I'd like to make a third one. What's better than having 2 creepy moon things? Well, let's have 3 creepy moon things. So let's try that. So it's 8 by 9.75 at 300 DPI and RGB. At least it keeps the color the same. Okay, that looks right. Neat. So this is what we got here. And I always like to kind of hide everything, so boom. Now we got this. I'm going to move this guy out of the way for right now. And, if anybody's interested, the things that I'm going to do are just super basic here. So this is a good landscape foundation. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm using very basic concepts. I kind of have like a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a kind of a go-to process that I pretty consistently use, and it always kind of starts the same way. And that's going to make, so I got my background layer here. I'm going to shift command N. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm not going to bother naming it, and I'm going to hit L on the keyboard and get my little lasso tool here. Hello, lasso tool. Lasso, Timmy's in the well. Lasso, let's go save him. And I'm gonna, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I mean, look, I'm a lefty. Even though it looks like it's my right hand, I got this thing reversed, so it makes it look like I'm looking at what I'm making here. Otherwise, it looks like my face is looking the other way, and it's jarring. But this is my left hand, so I'm always dragging from the left-hand side. And it usually starts with some sort of diagonal mess, right? So something, I do like asymmetry. Sometimes a little regular symmetry is good. Just holding down shift to give myself a little melt. I don't know. Like, is that cool? It doesn't matter. But this is what I'm doing here. Is this is my foreground. And that's generally going to be more or less black, right? So this is like my kind of foreground rocky cliff business. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I think I'm going to... I think I'd like to make it a little more like this type of thing. I mean, that's a little better already. And then why, why not just play around a little bit? Again, as I said, I have absolutely no plan here whatsoever. Maybe there's... I don't know, like this type of thing? Is that fun? Do we hate that? Do you even care? And let's make another layer behind whatever this trash is. Shift Command N again. And generally... And so the way that it works, right, with landscapes, guys, is darker in the front, it gets lighter towards the back. General rule of thumb, every situation is a wee bit different. But I'm going to make another one here in the back and just say this is, maybe it's something like this, right? So I can actually just fill this in with the black too. Do Command L to get to the levels, and you can just drop your black output volume down a little bit, and that'll give you like some kind of gray. And depending upon how far back you want this, you make it lighter gray. We're gonna go something like this. You can always change it. It's not that complicated. Like, I don't even think I like this. Let's see if we can flip it around and see if it sucks less. Yeah, honestly, I'm not really feeling it. So let's try something. I think this needs to be kind of flatter, right? We're looking off into a kind of a distance here, right? So this is going to be something very far away. So it's going to have way less shit in it. We'll just do something like that for now. You know what I mean? It ain't that deep. Cool. Now I'm going to bring in one of these little doodlers here. Which doodler should we doodle? So many pre-made nuggets to choose from. So, I don't know, you guys have any thoughts here? Maybe it's this guy. I got a lot of layers here. Another handy dandy little trick for you guys is if you hold down Command and you just click on the thing you want to grab, it'll just select it, right? You see in the layers palette, it's kind of jumping around and stuff. Excuse me. So just hold on Command and click on that, and it will give me, and it's got to be some dystopian yum-yums, right? So, I don't know, this guy is kind of cool. This guy is interesting, but maybe it's a little more symmetrical. This guy is interesting, too. This is like some condominium cyberpunk jazz. You know, I'm trying to live in this place, but this is more, if you've ever watched like Ninja Turtles, this is the Technodrome. But I do want to push this into the background. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the other thing. I'm just going to do Command L. I'm going to drop the output levels down and get it pretty close to that, right? So we're in the background. And this thing is way down, way behind. And it's kind of in the center. I mean, compositionally, these two elements, I don't know if that works. Sometimes it just works right out the gate, and we'll have to find out. But let's see. So let's keep playing around and adding some shit in here. So maybe there's behind this one, there's another layer of landscape. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit L on the keyboard. And I'm going to kind of do one of these. Do, 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 do. Hey there, buddy. And I'm going to fill it in with this gray just because I don't feel like double clicking the color picker. Same thing. I'm going to make it a little lighter. And if you want to hide your lines there, you could just hit Command H. I mean, it can absolutely be something like that. Right, just to give it another layer of who cares. Nope, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Alright, that's it in revoice. Maybe that's a wee bit more interesting. Maybe this can be bigger. Right, give it a little scale. I mean, the size of this and the size of this space here, I'm not really sure how I feel about this big rock in the front. I mean, we might not even need it. But let's see, let's just get a few more nuggets in here really quickly. I'm going to just cheat this. I want it to be all the way down there. We could always just kind of take this and move it down something if we want. But for right now, we'll start with what we started. And it is 3 in the morning. And my brain hasn't quite turned on yet. But if for some miracle you are still watching this video, I invite you to open up your own Photoshop file or get out your pens or pour yourself a cup of coffee and just kind of feel the flow. So we're going to keep going here. Generally, let's see, should we just go straight into the moon already and just get, because you want to work big brush strokes, right? So we don't want to get bogged down in details until we have a composition. Is this just going to be way too many circles? Have we committed a circle sin? And I'm just literally going to put a super, super light whatever here. Oh, that's stupid. Alright, so pro tip. Maybe just do it in the middle first so you have the whole damn thing. Alright, there we go. And now we can actually have the entire thing to move around. Right, because if I had done it here and filled it, you saw how it went, like, kind of got stuck on stupid. I don't know, maybe that's kind of interesting. We're not gonna marry anything quite yet, but I do like at least having some part of this behind it, right? That's we want to bring the eye from the back to the front. We're just gonna leave it right here for right now. Now let's make another new layer. We're gonna put a couple of little quick things here. So one thing I want to do with the sky or the background is we'll go in here with a big ass brush. I'm gonna make this kind of a little darker than what it was so that there's a little bit of a blend from light to dark, from top to bottom, right? Like, because you'll have kind of haze around the surface if you go out at night and you look out at the sky, like kind of towards the ground, there'll be like a little bit of brightness, right? Just a little bit, just a scooch. And we're gonna go make another new layer here. Shift Command N-key or hit this little plussy doodler right here. And with a big soft brush, I don't know what kind of brushes you guys have. I do have a brush pack up on my Patreon. Ugh, I hate saying Patreon. It sounds so beggy. But I didn't really have a better place to host shit. And actually, if you were to go to my Patreon, I'll put the link. Ugh, it's disgusting. You can go download this stuff for free. I have this little palette of sci-fi shapes that I made, or vector. It's hosted up there. You can just pull them down and load them into Photoshop. Please don't give me any money. I mean, not that anybody would. It's really not about that. It just feels absolutely disgusting. But I can host things up there. So I've got the brushes that I use up there, and I've got this. And, you know, look, it's not the best, but it works. So move these guys out the way. So what I'm going to do is just add with this big soft brush. I'm going to hold down shift and just kind of darken the top of this a little bit. Maybe we'll go a little darker. See what that does. All right, I'm just using the edge of it, right? I'm not I mean, I am doing that. I've been doing that since I woke up. But in this, on this illustration, we're not doing that. I did want to try to look for something real quick that I was remembering here. I've been, you know, there's so much Elon Musk in the news these days with this whole Twitter disaster, and he is the tech bro poster child, right? Meanwhile, he's look, bring me your salts, tech bros. It is the sugar in my coffee, as I have said. It is delicious. I enjoy waking up in the morning to all of my hateful comments about how stupid I am. Bring it. I love it. But this guy, but there is this Asian guy who he's like, looks exactly like Elon Musk. Let's see if I can find his his social media. Oh, it's so funny. Let me see if I can find this real quick. No, you know what? It got lost in all of the fake Elon Musk. Maybe I have to be more specific. Asian guy. Let's see if I can't find it. Chinese Elon Musk or deepfake. Let's see. Is this him? I think that's him. It's so great. What is this guy's? It's like his Twitter handle is like Elon Musk. Oh my god, it's so good.
Chinese Elon Musk, thank you, Tesla. I love you, Elon Musk.
Oh, this guy. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of just pop this into your guys' heads really quick. It's so funny. This guy, he gets on, he pulls it, and he's like, "Hi, Elon Musk." Like obviously either doesn't speak English or is pretending to really not speak English, and then he doesn't know what to say, so he just goes, he pulls money out, and he just goes, money. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, anyway, sorry, back to this, whatever this shit is right here. The techno, not quite techno drum. So we want to add some like little clouds in here. So we'll make another new layer. And in this concept art brush pack, that if you even Google concept art Photoshop brushes, that's where I got these a few years ago. It's all of these. You can find this brush pack. It's by, I don't know if this is the guy's name, like Soul Dot Not. It's like a Scandinavian name, but there's a lot of just bloat in this pack. Just a lot of like clip art and crap, and I actually went ahead and just got rid of a lot of that stuff, I think, on the brush pack that is basically from this. That is on my Patreon, which you please do not give me money. I don't want it. I will fucking send it back. But there's just a lot of good, and these are all pretty standard brushes that a lot of concept artists use, excuse me. And it's just like a lot of textured brushes. You got some rocky shit, and you got some clouds in here, and these are great. So we're gonna go in here with this cloud brush, and I'm going to just pick a color here by hitting I on the keyboard. We'll start with this kind of dark gray. You can always change it later. I'm just gonna add, oh, that's a little too robust. Bring the opacity, and I'm just gonna kind of try to feather this in a little bit and give myself some. right? Because there's always a little stuff here, maybe a little on top here. We can even get a little more here. Let's go a little lighter. Let's grab one of these grays. I'm just adding a little bit of information here in the sky, right? Give this a little texture here. I mean, that's fine for now. Just gonna take a little bit of this away here. Right, for right now, that's totally fine. So this is clouds 1. I'm actually gonna label this. Yeah, that's fine. And another just quick thing, we're just doing big brush strokes now. I'm going to duplicate this moon, and the one behind it, I'm going to just go filter, blur, little Gaussian blur, little Gaussian blur. And you can bump it up. It's just going to give your moon a little bit of a happy glow for all the world to see. Something like this. Let's see, we'll do one more thing here. I want to just add a little bit of a, right, because if you were to have, you know, like a lot of light coming from behind something, you're going to get like kind of a glowy sort of thing here. Just a little bits, nothing too crazy. Let's see, do we want to put a little dude in here? Maybe we'll add a little guy in here. That's something that was missing from my other ones that I made. I didn't have any, you know, standard concept art practice. Add a tiny little dude. And we'll just make a little guy. Hey there. Do 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 do. Nice hat. What's going on your head? I don't know. It's kind of fun. I mean, the proportions of this person are absolutely dreadful, so let's just shrink your head down a little bit. Hey, buddy. You want to go here? You want to stand here? Where do you want to stand? Let's go. Let's stand over here. Do you want to stand here? Maybe there you go. Maybe this is where you live. No, I don't like. This is getting a little pornographic looking. You go here for now. And maybe we're going to get rid of you later, and maybe we're not. And it doesn't really matter. Let's add, so I think on this ground here, we need some information, and we need some information here. This is a little pointy in a way that I don't necessarily love. So one fun way to do ground here is you can always make more like kind of layers, how I did it before, where you just take the lasso tool and do those. But I think we're going to take a shortcut. And it's all about taking shortcuts. No, we're not typing into, let me see, can I just type a prompt into here and say / imagine me awesome foreground? No, we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to make a new layer, kind of above this one, which is our ground here, right? This middle ground here. And I'm going to just, with one of these big rocky brushes, let's try this one. I want it to be kind of lighter than this at least. Just grab a gray. And I'm going to just, I'm not even going to paint it on here, because what I want to do is make just a clump of texture. and then apply a perspective to it, right? So it gives some depth. So you don't have to worry about, making small bits in the back and then bigger as they come closer to you, which is how, physics works. Just going to make some nuggets, right? I've got this whatever this is that I just made here, and then I can adjust this kind of on its own. I'm not in love with that. Let's add another one in there, shall we? Shall we add one of my favorites in here? This guy's always fun. Alright, so now we'll take this little nuggie and we'll apply some perspective to it. And you can always kind of just take this and put it over that and then hold down Option. And that will only affect the layer below it. See this little arrow here? This is so that it's like a clipping mask, which means it only affects the layer above it. Sorry, the layer below it. I'll take the opacity down on that a little bit. I'm not sure if I love it. And you'll see here I'm it's getting really big and a little unwieldy. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'm just going to do one of these, Command A, select all, then I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to delete the old one and just use this new one, which is smaller, a little easier to work with here, and just give it a little more perspective. Maybe a little distort, bring it down a little bit. And it's got a little bit of a hard edge here, so I'm going to erase the bottom out a little bit, just blend it a little bit. And one fun thing you can do, well, before I get too into that, I'm going to we're all about taking some shortcuts, so I'm going to just duplicate that by holding down Option and dragging it, or you can hit Command J. Let me drag it over here. So one fun thing you can do, I don't like this hard edge here, is if you wanted to, so the moon should have some sort of reflective quality to it, right? So if you actually hold down Command, now I can select that thing. Can actually lower the opacity a bit, but I can hold down Command, select it, and then on a new layer above that, since I have that selection, I can grab a very bright, a very light color, and just with a big soft brush, I'm going to do like one of these, right? Because that's where the moon would be. So the ground is going to reflect it kind of accordingly. And I'm going to do the same thing with, let me just put this so I know what this is, ground glow 1. I'm going to do the same thing with this other one up here. And I'm going to select that. And I'm actually going to put this on the same, no, I'm going to give it its own layer because I did this in a fucking stupid way. I'm going to hide it, Command H, I go boom, I got my, right, that's the moon reflecting, and I'm going to decrease the opacity on this other one. Actually, as I said before, I hate the that hard edge there. And you wouldn't see too much reflection here, so I'm going to just erase a little bit of that. I think I do a little here too, you wouldn't see it so much there. And then you've got kind of the ground shining, it's the shining ground. Move this up a little bit. See if we can't get these guys to kind of play together nicely. Yeah, I mean something like that. A little separation isn't the worst thing. But you see what I did there? Basically, I created this texture. I selected the texture, and with a new layer above it, I just add with a big soft brush this kind of more reflective nature. I'm going to just add a little bit more on this side. And that's good for now. Now maybe we want to add some something here. Right, this is a big dark mess of a space. Actually, since we're in here fucking around, let's move this up a little bit. What do you guys think? And we can brighten that a little bit as well. Actually, let's keep it that way. We're going to add just a little bit of glow over this with another big soft brush. Right, because you would get like this type of thing. Excuse me. And we can add more information in there too at some later time. This guy's name is Dude. What's up, dude? Alright, so let's add some stuff. So there's a couple ways you can add information into these rocks. First, I just want to see what a little pathway would look like, right? If this is a canyon of sorts. I'm actually wondering if this whole thing is better without that foreground bit, if that were to be the case. And you know, it's always important to remember that the great thing about you can always just get rid of stuff, which is nice. So I'm going to make a new layer here above this, and I'm just going to darken it up a little bit towards the foreground. Not quite black, but not quite not black. And we can always add more information. We can take these bits, we can duplicate them around, stuff like that. But for right now, let's put this back in there, because I don't know if I love it. Let's try something. Let's get weird. Let's ask Dude what he thinks. What do you think, Dude? Are you into that? Are you okay with that? I think that's actually a little more interesting. I like the diagonal aspect of it. Right? Because your eye comes in at the moon. And then you go kind of down this way. Wee. Let's add some rocky shit on here. Let's just add some... Let's pick a kind of a lighter gray. We don't want this to be too honking. Just a little bit here. So just kind of subtle information here, right? It would be over here too. Use this one. We can even go a little lighter because we can always take the opacity down. I don't love that. I'm getting hungry. You guys getting hungry? I'm getting hungry. Maybe some comes through here. A little bit of an imagined pathway through here. This is too much. Just take that down a little bit. Could even add another little bit here. And it's a little heavy, so we don't want it to be too much, right? Because there's not a lot of light there, but just something subtle. And it's always with the lasso tool. It's just such a useful thing. There you go, boom, go boom. It's a little much, so take it down a little bit, and that just gives us a little bit of information in there. I mean, and already we kind of have something that kind of looks like something, right? I do want to add some atmosphere between, you know, after this, like behind this rocky trashola, and then right behind, you know, I'm going to make another new layer. I'm going to call this atmosphere. I am going to say that this file is a little bit more of a mess than I like to normally do, but nobody gives a shit, because guess what? Nobody watching. I'm going to take this like fog brush, and I'm just going to grab a gray, and I'm just going to kind of paint this up a little bit. There's a little implied atmosphere coming up through here. It's a little flat. Maybe something with a little more information to it. Let's try this guy. And maybe we even go like brighter. Yeah, why not? I do like to put these little borders on here, so I'm going to make another new layer. As I said, go big brush stroke. So if the way that I do my border, you just select all, Command A, go select, modify, contract. What was I doing? 40 pixels on these? Yeah, that looks about right. Do Shift Command I, that's going to give me the inverse. I'm just going to fill this in with white. Right. I do like the kind of effect that that does. And we're going to need to take a little bit of this away here, because this guy is obviously going to should have some kind of shadow. And I just want to add like a little bit of information to our little... What's up with your head? What happened to your head? It's like the person who made you just doesn't give a shit. I think that that's absolutely fair. So I'm going to make another new layer above the dude. I'm going to hold down Option so I get this little arrow. And this will just let me kind of draw over him. We're going to use this textured paintbrush. This is like one of my faves. And we'll just add like a little bit of... Need a little more opacity here. All right, a little bit of this. A little of this. Light on your shoulders, it's a little much. Don't have to overthink it too much. Just a little bit. I'll take a little bit away. It's a little much. that's fine for now. No need to overthink it too much. And we kind of have pretty basic composition here. I do like to add in, here's another little happy cheat for you. I have this kind of texture I like to add over these. Gives it a little tooth. And then I'm being lazy as shit. I'm gonna just literally drag this gradient map that I have from the other one. Gives it a little bit of color. I'm gonna just go on this moon here, add another new layer. I do want this to be a bit brighter, so I'm gonna go with some basically pure white here with a big soft brush, right? Soft round. And we're just gonna give a couple of little tappy taps in the center of this moon. Yeah, it's like pretty basic, but you have a I don't want to say this is flushed out, let's be honest here, but you have a composition, and then another big cheat is we're gonna hop into Adobe Illustrator. There he is, what's up? And I have been adding these, so these two characters right here says tawa. This is like the phonetic is a tawa, or sorry, tawa. And I've been adding stupid things. So the first one was like the penis tower, and the second one was like the lazy tower, and now we'll name this, well, let's see what characters look good. Let's make a new one, go Google Translate. Alright, so we're gonna go right to text language, and we'll go to Japanese, so J-A-P, Japanese. And what should we call this piece of crap? Let's call it Turtle. Let's see what the characters for Turtle looks like. Kame House. Let's try something else. We'll call it, let's see, what is circle? Oh, that's too long. I want like kind of complex looking cool characters. Let's call it poo poo. Let's see, I don't know if they have the poo poo. I think like Ichi or something is shit. Tawagoto. Let's see, lazy. I think I actually did that lazy tower already. It's Mendokusai is like sloth. Let's see, sloth. Taida. Yeah, I like the look of that. Taida tower. So we're gonna see which one of these is not. Okay, this guy is still. I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna just paste that in like that. Easy as pie. I'm actually gonna duplicate that. Shift Command O will give me outlines, and we're just gonna rip off our exact same format that we had here, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do like for these things to line up. Always line your shit up, guys. Shift Command G to ungroup. And this, see how this, I want this like that. You should probably use guides. I'm being lazy. I take this piece. Oh, right. I always forgot. I gotta add. I take this whole piece. I'm gonna put it here. And let's type in some trash here. What should it say? They are all different on all these. I don't just copy and paste the same little paragraph. Let's see. Let's just literally write caps locks. Let's say Once upon a time, there was... I can't spell. There was a rat named Winter.
Who lived in the New York City sewers. He was a special rat who had 4 lovely children. They were all turtles. They were all turtle people. They were all turtle people. Each one was special in his own special way.
And that's all I have to say. Cool, that's deep. And this little piece of typography, without getting into a typography lesson, you really want to just kind of make, like, if this was all the same weight of font, it would be very static. So I've got like a thin and then a thicker, but I do like to keep changing these numbers. And let's go, what's some cool looking numbers? Let's go 9205. Yeah, who cares? I just want to make sure this is kind of lined up. See, do I want to line up to, let's line up to this. That's okay. That's okay. And we just take this whole piece of shit and we're going to copy and paste it pretty much over the top, but under this texture. Command I to invert it and just drop it in there and see what it does. Can always move it around. Sometimes it looks great, real big in the middle. Sometimes, you know, this one has this big space here, so it seems pretty obvious that this would probably go about here. Don't want it to be too bright and to take over. Yeah, something like that. I mean, we can, look, you can go in here and start adding all kinds of details and more information to this ground and have it blend more out. But for the most part, this is just the very basic, quick way to do this, right? These mountains in the back need some information. These rocks, these lines are very hard. Actually, this is pissing me off. This, whatever this shit is. Like, you ever see a rock that looks like that? I know I certainly haven't. Alright, so we just fix that. This could use a little information on it. We'll just kind of give this a little bit of something. Turn off the gradient map because you're going to select some tones. I'm actually just going to do this with this textured brush. A little on the top here. Without overthinking it too much. This could use a little. And I do like to kind of do this one too. I'm going to go in here with the smudge. I want to give these rocks a little, right, they're just a little too hard. So we're going to pretend that there's some, like, I don't know, vegetation or whatever. Where's my buddy? I do have one of these that I like to use for this stuff. There we go. Flat brush. Hello, flat brush. Good morning, homie. And I just give these a little squiggle on top. Right. Well, not everywhere. Right, because it wouldn't be grass everywhere. What is that? That's just a mess. Maybe here there's some. Maybe here. Maybe it is a little here. A little here. Just a little something, something. Right? Because the really hard edge line is like not absolutely my favorite. Maybe there's a little grass growing up from this little crack here, here. Maybe there's some here. It's just a little small detail. And kind of there you have it. So this is super fast. Pretty monochromatic. Not the most exciting thing, but we made this thing in like what I probably spent more time talking shit than it took to make this. And we could add more information into the moon, you know, more glow. I mean, if we were really going to do this and get deep into this, there would be some sort of like lighting effect coming over here. Well, we can add that super fast, right? That only takes a momentarino. And we're just going to put this literally over the top of the whole thing. Just label this TYPE PYT. Another new layer. Big soft brush. Big soft brush. But not too much. We don't want it to be like too honking, right? So just a little bit here. Right? Just a little bit. That was a little much. Maybe there's some here. We definitely add some more reflection off of this thing. If we were going to spend more time on this, I would definitely do that. We would go in here, make a new layer above this little guy right here. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We can just do the clipping mask and just kind of give this a little. Yeah. And it's just easy as pie. I mean, when you spend the time and you make yourself a palette like this of these little bits and you create like a visual language for any project or your own personal stash, it does. You can really make your life a lot easier. A lot of times I'll use these and I'll kind of stretch them and plop them on top of each other. But for the purpose of this, I didn't want to get bogged down in all that. And I just wanted to make a quick thing that kind of fell in line with his friends here. Yeah, it actually kind of works. I mean, this needs more to be flushed out a little bit. This circle, it's a little bit of a dead area here. Maybe we need to add like some lights, right? Can always just come in here. I keep this handy for close encounters. And just kind of, maybe I'll just take this, whatever this shit is. I'm going to copy. Paste it here. And season to taste. We're going to just take that bit. I'm going to do like a put screen on it, which drops the blacks out. Really then bump those blacks down so you just have like this type of thing. And then stretch it out. We just go warp and just do like maybe some of this shit. And you can add more stuff like that, but I think that's fine for now. I mean, this piece, I don't even know what the hell's going on up here. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a good place to leave this off today. I'll be back later today with more AI hellscape, but I thought it would be fun to actually make something. Don't forget to make stuff, and all of this AI apocalypse got you down business. Be creative, have fun. Enjoy your life, my friends. And that's it. Talk to y'all later. Good luck in the worst come.